comigo já... já está pessoas. Olá, olá pessoas, tudo bem? Tá tudo bem. Comigo também está tudo bem. Estou com um bocado de sede. Estou com sede hoje. I'm thirsty. I'm going to speak in English because our guest is Stephen Garland from Ireland. So I will be speaking in English. So tough days. Okay. So last time we tried to talk, but Instagram was he was really asshole with us, so we didn't manage to connect. What we wanted to do is talk about life and stuff, but I decided I should throw a hello party or something, like Hawaii party, because things are gonna be sad tonight, and this is just a maneuver to cheer you up. We're gonna be talking about pretty serious stuff and all that allied with comedy. But if things get too serious for you, just look at the flower and deny life as a coping mechanism. Okay, so we're gonna talk with him, Mr. Stephen Garland. I met him when I was doing a stand-up show. He was producing. We were in Rio de Janeiro, and he was producing this show. I think it was every week. And this one time we met there, and he was producing the show, and we are friends forever. Okay, and he's here already, so I'm gonna invite him in. Now he's gonna be confused with all this setting, but I don't know. My sister. Hi. I'm so thirsty. I'm just promoting, like shamelessly promoting my new mug. Oh yeah. Yes, I'm promoting my new mug. This is official. Exists. Okay. Deal with it. Okay. Now this is just me. I miss my friends that I left all around the world, and Stephen is one of them, because 1 year after we met, he received some sad news that he's going to share with you, and tell us how did he manage to go through all that. So we're just waiting for him to connect. He says waiting for Barcelona Comedy. Yeah, my English is set on phone. Yeah, canto no canecão. Olha, está mais um golinho. Olha, perdi-o. Então tu caíste, homem. Oh, valha-me Deus. Olha, o Instagram não quer nada connosco. Já vou pedir para ele ligar outra vez. Olha, Estelinha. Olá, Estelinha, saudades. A minha mami brasileira está aqui também. Acho que ele vai entrar agora. Oh, yeah!
Hey, hola!
Where are you?
Hello?
Which country are you? What's up?
Am I the right way around?
Oh, yeah, that's it. Are you in Italy?
Okay. Okay, well, I go that way.
Oh, nice.
It means I have to hold it.
Okay.
How are you doing?
How are you?
Very good.
Well, this time we managed to, kick Instagram's butt. We kick butts. Here. We kick butts.
It's true.
So,
I'm wondering how we
where are you right now?
I'm in Ireland, I'm constantly on the move. Mm-hmm. And I have to stop my phone moving now, so I need to prop it up. Wasn't expecting to put it this direction. But yeah, I'm in Ireland.
Should I send help for that earthquake or something? Okay, yes. That's steady.
We just stop now, and keep going and not accept my lack of good positioning. Anyway, how are you doing? Long time no see.
Yeah, I think 8 years maybe. I don't know. We're not counting. Who's counting anyway? I don't know.
Yeah, it's lately I've been getting.
And I really want to know what happened while I was away, because lots happened. Just want to hear everything about it.
Yeah. So, well, basically lots and nothing at the same time, because I've managed to keep all my things going in Spain, my business in Spain, which kind of fell apart. And in 2000, I'm literally just writing it at the moment. I'm writing a book, which is...
I want to buy it. Before you
I'll organize the pre-order soon, but my God, it takes these books, I didn't realize they take a lot of writing.
Yeah.
It takes some time.
Yeah.
And it's autobiographical, and it kind of spans the period from when I last met you in Brazil, in Rio, let's say, but it was even before Rio, because I was in Brazil that time for the World Cup, for the 2014 World Cup.
Yeah.
And that's when I noticed I had issues appearing with my health and things. And so for a long time, I always was going backwards and forwards. I would, from a hammock in Natal in tropical northeast of Brazil, I would program a festival, and then I would go back and deliver it. And so I did that for a lot of years. And amazingly, despite much adversity, and it's still meeting new adversity. We've got a new disease, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
And
yeah, but you know,
but it goes to.
I think you should. I think we should start from the day that I received. I don't know. I think I received like the crowdfunding thing, and I was really confused because it was like buy this man a pint, wasn't it?
That was very successful.
Yeah, I think you deserve it. Anyways, when I see you again, I will say out loud, let's buy this man a pint. But the thing was, how much did you manage to raise from the crowdfunding to go to Russia to the treatment of your MS?
Okay, yes. I mean, that's it was quite a story all around before I ever got there, you know. And in 2017, I eventually got there. So I've been to the Edinburgh Fringe, you know, the Edinburgh Fringe. Yeah. So I've been going there every year forever. And so when I discovered that I had the jackpot, it's the jackpot of MS. It's called PPMS, primary progressive. Yeah. Oh, okay. So no treatment, no cure, and basically, if I listened to the doctors, I would be in my doctors and the Western doctors that I had. Then I would be in a wheelchair now. And
yeah, you wouldn't be like walking around at all.
Yeah, exactly. And so anyway, so at that time, I was pretty new. In 2016, 2017, I was in a lot worse shape. I'm feeling good now. I'm strong, and I still walk with a stick, and I've got a range. So my life is a range of about 1.5 kilometers, you know? Yeah. And so when I get that far, and then I have to sit down, take a rest for about 10 minutes, but then I can go and do another 1.5 kilometers. I always perceive my life at the moment as being, you know, those Airbnb maps where they do that circle around the neighborhood. So I literally live inside one of those circles, and wherever I go, the circle moves with me, and that's 1.5 kilometers. And in Barcelona terms, it's like 10 blocks or something like that. So it's not, life is, but I mean, I should be in a wheelchair. So it is, it's a great success.
You know, one thing that shocked me a lot, and well, now I'm gonna go to the sad part of the interview or something like that. You know what most, I don't know, I was crushed because you and I have a common friend. And just one from Portugal. And you remember, Rita, we just...
Yeah, sure.
And we were friends of the same person, and it was really improbable to be friends with that
What's her, she's got a name she kind of writes under?
She was Candy Crush. You remember?
Yeah, there you go. I was thinking Candy Crush.
Conclusion, there was like one of my best friends. And like, this can't be. This is so... this is not likely. And you know what's not likely at all too is that Rita's sister had the same problem that you had, but like a severe one, and she died when she was 17. And so this was like really hard to accept in my mind, that the only person that I know you know, has a story that to share, like, well, not like yours, because I have some theories. I think you're immortal, but we'll go there in a minute. I have some theories about how you survived that.
Well, a lot of my own self-medical advocacy And that's a lot of what I'm writing at the moment. It's an autobiography of a period of like 8 years, which are framed by 2 World Cups and how many World Cups? We're first of all the World Cup in Brazil, then and then ending in Russia, and it's also got the Olympics in between. So I was in Brazil for the Olympics.
Yeah.
And so it's a bit of a crazy little story. It jumps all over the world, and I end up in Russia, in Moscow, and then I'm back. I end up back here in Longford, the most undramatic place on the planet, the least visited, the least visited town in the whole of Ireland. Ireland has a lot of tourism, but they don't come to Longford. So that's where I am now. It's pretty undramatic, and but I'm just chilling out for a bit, and at this precise moment.
How did you do like your first 5 minutes about that one subject? How was it to construct it? Was it like emotional, or did you use it as a coping mechanism for you, or something like that?
In my show, yeah, the show was. I've been a comedy backstage for a long time, working production and creating festivals, creating shows. But I've always been inside my Barcelona Comedy Festival. I have always had workshops, and so I'm watching people like Logan Murray. And Logan Murray's workshops, they were hugely successful back in the day, 2005, 2006, that kind of thing. And they laid the ground for what is now a really vibrant grassroots in Barcelona. Barcelona has some really. I think it's got 15 shows a week.
What?
I mean, people. Yes, you can gig every single night of the week in Barcelona.
We're so behind that. We're so. Oh my god! I wish.
But it just grew incrementally, and within my festival, which happens every November, the Barcelona Festival Internacional de Comedia de Barcelona, the world's only multilingual festival, and we have our 12th edition this year, which it's amazing that it's got here with every kind of disease, and now we've got a new coronavirus disease that's trying to stop it again.
How are you dealing with that craziness on top of the other crazinesses that happen in your life?
No, to be honest, I got locked down in Barcelona. It was very disappointing because I'm an event manager essentially. I'm a production manager, and I was creating comedy shows here in Ireland, and I had a little business here in Ireland that I was just after setting up. But it was it's called FairdeanEvents.com, and. But the idea was it was a little bit of a bridge between Spain and Ireland, and my plan was to be, we bring acts from Spain because there's a lot of Spanish in Dublin. Dublin's a very multi-national kind of city these days, only a small little town, and but there's every nationality there. They're all working in the entire internet is in Dublin, and
I've heard.
Today we're celebrating. Giving back 13 billion euros to Apple. Woo! We're fighting for
the. You can't drink because of your. Did you have like a kidney thing?
So I'm drinking water tonight. Well, I got taken antibiotics, and so it's getting better, and so but I am on water. Has to be said.
What? An Irishman on water?
Yes.
What?
Yes.
I'm
sorry.
Having some troubles here with the sound.
So am I. I'm having trouble accepting it.
Oh my god. Your friends are gonna hate you forever if they see this live. You're gonna lose your friends. You're drinking water. I don't want to perpetuate.
They know it's only a very temporary thing, Katerina.
Okay, so you wanna hear my theories about your I did some material on you, okay? I had nothing better to do. Actually, I did. Okay. Do you think that what really happened was that you were stung by some kind of spider in Russia, and now they're giving all the credits to stem cells? Yeah.
I don't know. It's some crazy spider. It says more likely a Brazilian spider, you know?
Yeah, yeah. Because I think people are just leaving these theories behind. Have you tried to jump from a high place?
No, I can't jump anymore. I've lost certain
You
skills.
can't
They're
jump
kind of like
anymore.
no, it's like the mini tragedies in my life. The mini tragedies in my life are I can't run anymore,
Okay.
so I can't. And that to me is the most. I'm that pathetic guy when the bus, when the bus is leaving and you can see the bus is there. It's at the bus stop and it's going
Yeah.
to leave, and it's only 20 meters
So
away.
you're easy to rob. That's what you're saying. You're easy to get.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't dwell on the fact that I'm kind of that. I'm more vulnerable like that in a sense. But I have a stick.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you have
a stick.
Yeah, and they have a place. Yeah.
Yeah, you got to get past me and my stick first. And yeah, and I can't cycle anymore, which is something I hate. And I can't do certain things. I've still got a bunch of lesions in my head. I've still got lesion on my spine, different things like that.
Yeah.
But the lesions in my head is, it affects your kind of everybody has a limbic system. I don't know if you know what a limbic system is.
Yeah, yeah.
You have one in your, we all have one in our brain.
I'm a fan. I am really. I can
Sure.
go on a quiz and I will win you.
Yeah, well, the limbic system is amazing place. I mean, I used to do a lot of acid, and I love what the brain, and I love what happens in the brain, and so the entire emotions are controlled by a system in the brain called the limbic system, and that's what we're doing when we're triggering everything with comedy. You're kind of the limbic system is where it all goes on, and so it's the problem is I've got a bunch of lesions in there.
Yeah.
And what it means is I can't watch like a really good movie anymore, like a very something. I can't be emotionally invested in things anymore, or else I'll end up like a blubbering mess in the corner. I can't watch sports and stuff that I'm really invested in public in a bar, or else I'm like a dick in the corner, crying.
That's so weird. Well, our brains are really
Yeah. So the MS brain is a little bit, that's where it's kind of damaged. And then, but it does make for stronger orgasms.
Oh, that's cool.
It's incredible.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Like the peak ones, like half an hour.
Yeah. Half an hour, it's like that's.
I noticed you were a little brain damaged because you accepted to do this interview with me. And I was like, oh my God, no hope for that guy. His limbic system is gone.
And on Instagram, which I hate.
Yeah, I don't like Instagram too, but yeah, well, we need it, and
it's working tonight, so that's okay.
Buy it and we'll destroy it.
Yeah, that's working.
I'll just buy it to destroy it. That's what I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
I have another theory on your recovery. I think you're a reptilian.
Reptilian. Which reptile?
Or Illuminati. Oh, there's that wasn't there when we started. Are you Illuminati? Are you okay.
Oh, no. Look at that. I have nothing. Sorry, in my.
I think you're a vampire. Okay, I know you're a vampire. You're not fuzzy at all. Your image. So that's not. I don't know if you're a vampire or not. But just in case, look at this and tell me if you're scared.
Nah, no problem. Garlic. Do you know what I do? I have raw garlic every morning.
You do? Really? My dad does that too. Yeah. Is that so good for the system? Is it?
Yeah.
But
absolutely, man. I've got a video on my YouTube channel, which is because I came. A part of this treatment that I did in Russia is what you basically do is you're smashing your immune system. You're absolutely wiping out. What's happening is you have B cells and T cells. A lot of talk about the T cells at the moment because that's the most important thing in fighting coronavirus. And so the B cells and T cells, what happens is that they go rogue and they start attacking your own immunity, your own neurological system. And so when you do this treatment, what you're doing is you're absolutely smashing the B cells and T cells, and then you take your stem cells are out, they're frozen, then to take back your frozen stem cells, put them back, and reboot your system. So, but it means that for a long period after, you have a very compromised immunity. And for a while, directly after the transplant, you have zero immunity. And it's very dangerous. That's when there is a mortality level. And I had a very dodgy 5 days after the transplant. I had a very dodgy night.
Oh my God.
And I woke up it was like a scene from MASH. I don't know if you remember. You don't remember MASH.
Yeah, I heard some movies talking about MASH. But do you feel like you were reborn again or something like that?
Yeah, and we celebrate, people who do this treatment, we celebrate it as another birthday. So I have a stem cell birthday on the 5th of December. I've got my natural one in 26th of May, but I have another on the stem cell because my stems, you're looking at me now, but you're not realizing that this is a 3-year-old. When did I get it done? 2017. So I'm nearly 4-year-old immunity, you know?
Yeah.
But what I did was I was just doing, just eating information, how I can learn about immunity system and all that stuff. Because I found that I've stopped this disease on my own. No doctor pointed me in any direction. I had to find out every now, but then, ironically, Facebook is the place where all this stuff happens. That's where the groups. And as we look badly on Facebook all the time, and I certainly would as well, but ironically, like when I did, it was 1980, or what is it? God, I can't remember. 2007. Time is flying. 2017, and Facebook groups were a relatively new thing. It's not that long ago, but it's a long time in technology, Yeah. And so those Facebook groups is where you got your information, and that's by meeting new people who've done it. But I was on the first wave of Irish people to go to Moscow. Lots of people have gone there now, I have friends that have gone on my recommendation.
What did exactly happen in Russia? Like, what was the procedure? Can you, I don't know how specific can you be, but like in general terms, was like something in your spine or something?
No, it's right. Very, very quickly, because the thing I never asked myself any great deep questions before going there. I didn't want to know. I knew it was invasive because there was always the question hanging over it: how did they get the stem cells out?
Yeah.
And I never really wanted to go there, and I decided not to go there. I had money. I had to raise 70,000.
I didn't like it.
Yes, I've done a few spinal taps. I didn't know a spinal tap was a thing until I got MS, and I've done about 5 or 6 spinal taps. Yeah, they're no fun. None of it's so difficult, but because you have to get it very much in your head that I was going downhill quite rapidly. I went from 1 stick, I was 2 sticks. I was kind of my resistance, and I was getting my fatigue. But my body was falling apart quite quickly. That's why I need a dramatic intervention, and that's why I cannot believe that there's still lots of people out there. I don't know what Portuguese MS is like, but they don't tell you in most countries that this is HSCT is the name of the treatment. They don't tell people that this is a treatment for you. I've stopped my unstoppable disease by doing this treatment that no doctor told me about, and the point of, and the worry about all that thing. I made a stage show out of this. That a comedy show, storytelling show, and so in that show I don't explicitly say there's a big pharma conspiracy, but everybody knows big pharma is behind so much rotten in the world, and stem cells particularly. Yeah. Stem cells are the future of fixing so many diseases and illnesses, and the idea that this information is not given to people. And the reason it's not given to people because they will fly those doctors. The doctors are the front line of sales. They're salesmen. So those doctors basically are being taken on holidays, and that's been proven. Novartis is a very huge pharma and they were fined $700 million only last week
Yeah.
because there was proven that they were buying consultants to get them prescribing Novartis drugs. So this is all proven.
Wasn't
So
wasn't the Oxfam guy that died like 2 days ago or something like that? Like the oldest dude. Oh, dude. I'm calling him dude. Yeah, because I don't respect him. That's why I call him dude. The guy from Oxfam, I think he died. And, well, there are some, some conspiracies about everything going better in a few years. I don't know I think that's, I don't know. Let's see.
I don't believe anything. Some people are trying to be optimistic. I don't know where you sit on the whole post-COVID world thing.
But that's a crime against humanity. If you don't say people that you have a cure for them and you just let them die, that makes you a killer, right?
Yeah, and it's a horrible death as well, by the way.
It's like the slow deterioration of your organs is one of the worst deaths that people can have. Like, I don't know. But tell me one thing. Did you ever try inserting like a fork in the electric outlet? You tried it?
A fork? I did as a child.
So that's my point. You're immortal. Okay, I'm not talking about the plastic ones. I'm talking about the real one. That's my point. Okay, I know. Wait.
No, we're not immortal. I believe in science, actually.
Yeah, of course.
And so,
me too. I'm just joking around.
Yeah.
I think you were replaced like Avril Lavigne and my butcher, but I don't want to go there. How was your incorporation with all that stuff that happened to you and that recovery and stuff like that? And how did you? I'm really curious about your show about it. How do you deal with it and how do you joke about it?
right. Well, I'll tell you, because it's like mixing dark and light. And as you know, if you're comedy is all about live comedy is all about controlling the tension in the room. And I mean, I'm not a very experienced comedy performer. I've been working maybe, I don't know, 25, 30 years in this industry, so I know it well. And I've worked with the very biggest in the industry, and right down to an open mic. So I know all the dynamics of how live comedy works. So I've done MCing and stuff many times, but I've never been a kind of regular performing comic. But it is a craft, and you can kind of, you can take it as far as you can. And I knew that I had a little bit, I knew I could figure out the craft of it, and I just had to it's trial and error. And so I wrote, so back in 2016, when I was just diagnosed, the MS Ireland, who are like one of these associations that's supposed to look after us, but they are bought by pharma as well, and so they don't recommend HSCT. They don't tell you a bunch of things. They tell you about the drugs. So they're bought, and so they sent out, when I was newly diagnosed, they sent out this lady who's a psychologist to kind of, and it's laudable. It's very nice what they do, because she's sent out because you're newly diagnosed, so she's sent out to kind of help you deal with the trauma. So in this meeting, which it happened in Ireland, and it of course happened in a bar. So we meet in a bar to be let down. So in the conversation, I dropped, because I thought it was. I always knew this disease to be a terminal illness, and so I said that to her. I could see she was kind of struggling. She was finding the conversation more difficult than I was. And so I said, I tried to put her at ease. I said, look, I think I've kind of come to terms with the idea that I have a terminal illness. And she goes, Stephen, we don't call it a terminal illness anymore. We call it. And I said, what do you mean? And she says, oh, we've got a much more politically correct term for that. And so I said, I said, well, it is. So what is it? And she said, yeah, you have a predisposed illness. And I went, bang, you just gave me the name for my Edinburgh show. And so that was it. That was the moment. And I decided, so at that time I was bad and going down quite fast at that time. And so this was in, when was it? Maybe March, something like that. And Edinburgh is always in August. I've been to Edinburgh 20 years, going there all the time, every year. I programmed all my shows in Spain, everything, and that's where the entire business meets every year, you know? So I've been going there for 20 years. And so I knew how to make a show. I'd made a show there before. In 2009, I brought the first English language comedy show from Barcelona from Spain to the Fringe. That was fun. Anyway, but so I knew how to do this, and so I said, okay, well, I'm going to make a show. And so the Fringe is famous, as you know, for maybe having the real cookie side of comedy a lot of the time.
Yeah.
So I decided, okay, so I only had a prognosis of you're going down, dude. That's the only way is down. The previous 3 requests for assisted suicides in Ireland were for PPMS patients, and there's no other way this thing ends.
Really?
You go from 1 stick to 2 sticks to rollator to wheelchair, and then your body starts to implode internally. Your cognitive goes, your swallow goes, and it's a horrific way to die.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Oh.
Oh my God.
So I hope everybody's having fun. Anyway.
Yeah. Now
So I had a name for the show.
He could be like the funniest guy on earth. Everyone was weeping. It's just weird. Just cleaning the nose and the snot and stuff like that.
There you go. So I had a name for the show, The Predisposed. And so I figured, because I know what comedy shows are about, what making a show in Edinburgh is about, basically every Edinburgh show has to be 60 minutes long. That's the model of Edinburgh, yeah? And there's the Free Fringe, and so I know the Free Fringe. So I said, okay, I'll do the show. I'll put the show on in the Free Fringe. Edinburgh is a killer of a city. I don't know if whoever doesn't know Edinburgh, you got to go there and check out a beautiful city.
Once, but I want to go back because I want a better memory of that Fringe than the one that I have.
Right, man. You know, it's, to be honest, I'm along with all the comics and all the ones who miss Edinburgh, who've been there, the likes of Simon Munnery and these people, great comics. They've done 30 years at this Fringe, you know, and it's a massive hole in people's lives and people's pockets.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, yeah, I had a drink with Jimmy Carr. Come on, where else? Right? And Ginger.
Yeah, you need everybody.
It was amazing. And how did you go around in Edinburgh? It's so hard to get around when you're walking normally.
That's what I was saying. The hills are incredible. Even if you're well and fit and all that kind of thing. So the hills are impossible. Yeah. So I had a friend. He had a house that kind of. I got a show in the Banshee Labyrinth, which is totally a very infamous venue in Edinburgh. And it's called a labyrinth for a very good reason. It's like one of these cave venues. It's buried down in the way down in. And anyway, but it's on the side of a hill, like 60-degree angled hill. And but I managed to get a friend who was on a bus route that would take me to the top of the hill, and I only had to walk down. I was going, okay, I could do this. I'll manage it. And but I was kind of going, well, this is going to be too tough. I was only going to do a week or 10 days, do a full week. Saturday to Saturday, and so I was going, okay, I'm not going to be able to do an hour. And first of all, I'm not a comedian, which should be a prerequisite for doing a comedy.
Comedian. You're a newborn person and a newborn comedian. You can say people,
yeah,
do you think I was reborn yesterday? And that's true.
But doing 60 minutes a night, 7 nights on the trot, it's kind of it's a big ask. Yeah. So I decided, okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take out my phone book and go to all my comics that I know are going to be in Edinburgh at the time. And so I'll do 20 minutes of my storytelling about what was going on with my disease to that point. And then I get a big comic to come in, one of the legends of the Fringe to come in afterwards. And I kind of handpicked them for the fact. It was actually, I don't know, was it, oh God, I can't remember. Was it 50 years or 70? It must be 75 years of the Fringe that year, 2007, and 2017. it was an anniversary year anyway, yeah. And so I did this kind of Legends of the Fringe, and my hope was that I would generate a little bit of audience off them, you know, as well. And we had a mad week, a really mad week, and in the middle of it, I had a catastrophe. Where on the second or third, I had people like Simon Munnery, Trevor Locke, who you know, who was out in Brazil at one point, and who else was there? Carrie Marks and Marcel Lecomte, brilliant character comedian. And in the end, I left the last night free with to be confirmed. And I've been doing a lot of work with Eddie Izzard. I've done 41. Yeah, so I've done 41 shows with Eddie.
You came here twice, and I couldn't manage to see him because I was living in Germany. So that was stupid.
I remember when he was going there because he actually, when he played those gigs in Lisbon, he was at that time, it was in the middle of my 41 shows. I did 41 shows where he was changing the language of
like he learned
gig.
how to speak German in one or Spanish in 1 month, and it does like a full stand-up show in that language. That's crazy. He's a genius, and he runs a marathon. And he dresses as
But that's mad. I mean, that's totally mad. Anybody who runs 30 man.
But you know,
I find it hard to admire. I find it hard to admire that. Why would you want it?
But you know,
but it was a great irony because he came down and did this show, put on his tits and had his nails done, and he's wearing his heels and looking.
I can tell you, it's a lot of work. I'm using filters from now on. I'm not using any makeup anymore. It's expensive. I'm just using filters. Well, but I don't blame you for
dark lights.
I don't blame you for using a disability, let's say like that, in order to captivate some audience to your show, because I did that when I was in Brazil and I said I'm Portuguese and so many people would come to see me.
That's a hell of a disability over there as well, you know?
Is she dumb? We want to know. I picture, sometimes I have this strange habit of picturing tombstones to people. What would the tombstone say? It's a bit black on my side, but I really enjoy myself thinking what I don't know, like you're here, so I'm imagining your tombstone. And it would read something like this: I went to Russia. It's all good now. Be right back. LOL, no. So it's like, you're not there. You will not be there.
I struggle to be there.
Because you won't be back. You won't be there. You will be somewhere in Brazil drinking from a coconut water while we are all dead of corona disease or something like that. You will beat this shit. I want your serum, okay? Your serum.
On my YouTube channel, right? You know?
Yeah.
I'll have to post it. You can post it out to your people afterwards.
Yeah.
It's there. I do this mad thing every morning with a ton of things. And it's all completely invented by me.
You told me you're studying something about weed that I liked. You had me on weed.
Yeah, man. I'm doing medical cannabis.
How's that going?
Yeah, it's quite intense because it's quite scientific, this whole world. You know, it's not like learn. Okay, first suck it in, blow it. That's not the course. You know, the course is more science, but it is. It's yeah. But there are courses, I think, even for that. But there's a course for everything nowadays, you know. But this one is from the University of Colorado, Boulder, and that's the ground zero of the legality in America. So it's very, very interesting. And in Ireland, we're because I'm a medical cannabis patient. Now, look, I've been a recreational cannabis patient all my entire life, but. Yeah, so now, but now I'm actually entitled to a license.
Now you have a prescription. You're still a
Yeah,
stoned
and
man.
I
But you have a
I literally
prescription.
do. I literally do. I've got a cannabis doctor in Barcelona, and I've got, but here in Ireland, it's still illegal, you know, and so I mean that just pisses me off, and that's still the case. So I'm entitled to a license, and for 2 years, the consultant, politicians make claims that things are happening when they're not, because I'm right at the coal face. I mean, I'm the one who's got that disease, who fits the criteria of what you're saying, that I'm entitled to a license, but you won't give me one. So there's an awful lot of this duplicitous kind of political nonsense going on. And so, there's a lot, it's very interesting because I use it, man. I've got a vape. That's what I vape THC, and I bought pure CBD, and so I make my own mix that suits me, and
Okay, I'll be there
that's
in a minute.
well, I'll tell you what, but it's either a single malt now, and I'm gone very sophisticated with my drugging. I do single malt whiskey and 79% THC vape.
Whoa! Oh.
And by the end of that, I'm kind of steady.
So I think you should hire some bodyguards when your book comes out, because I don't think some people will like the content of your book.
I've decided only in the last week that because things are angering me as well. I'm getting angry. In the beginning, it was just a kind of, because it's almost like an interesting travel read, as well as there's like big events. What went on with the Brazilian World Cup? I mean, it was hilarious. It was hilarious what happened to them. Germany beating them 7-1. This is 200 million Brazilian sphincters squeezing at the same time makes an outrageous noise.
That was remarkable, yeah. And it was so good.
It's a trauma, and
the memes were awesome.
Trauma. Yeah, so there's lots of that that's very interesting. I was in Barcelona for when Spain won the World Cup in South Africa. So for football fans, it's great. For sports fans, for events, mega events. I don't do small events. The only small events are my events.
Yeah.
And the rest are all mega events. So somehow it's got a chronology that's inherently interesting, I think. So, but that's what I'm having to do. I'm having to do a lot of, because they're it's real chronology that I'm following a lot of the time, and I'm giving like my twist and angle on it. Mm-hmm. That it has to be correct, and there's a lot of so I'm doing a lot of research and things like that. That's slowing up my progress. At least that's my excuse, But I'm getting there.
Yeah,
about 50,000 words.
Of course, you're a man with a cane. You can. Yes, you can. Okay, this is stupid fun. I was going to ask you. It's a boring question, but I really want to know. If you lived many different types of watching comedy live, because you lived in several countries. And I have my opinion because I did it in Germany also, but I don't think I ever. I don't think I ever performed for a German person at all. I don't know. It was very, very mixed, like expats and stuff like that. But I really want to know your view of this, like pan comedy. How does the comedy is accepted where you lived?
Yeah. They're all different, When I lived in Helsinki as well, yeah?
Oh, you did? I didn't know that.
Yeah, in the year 2000. I lived there for a year and a half.
Okay.
And
I prefer I didn't know that.
Yeah, and so when I lived there in 2000, you couldn't possibly imagine that comedy would ever happen in that town. We were very few. expats, like I knew them all. we all knew each other, you know. The only reason you were in Helsinki at that time was whether you worked directly for Nokia or you were there with a Finnish bird, that kind of thing.
But was that when you met Harry Sonilla? Was that when you met Harry?
No, I didn't. I only met Harry in Brazil much later.
Okay.
Yeah, but the point is that I couldn't imagine comedy happening there in Finland. I just couldn't see that crowd getting it or being, you know, and they're still so stiff an audience that I find it hard to perceive that happening at that time. But of course it's changed. And the thing is that comedy kind of has grown so strong, you know, so fast in the space of, you know, 10 years, it's gone everywhere. Yeah. And when I started up comedy in Spain, doing shows in Spain, that was in 2005. Or 2004 was the first one I did, which was the very first show in Spain. Mm-hmm. So that's quite a while ago, 16 years ago. Yeah. And at that time, Barcelona was a sexy gig for all the top English comics. Barcelona was was one of the few European destinations. It was a sexy one.
Why not Lisbon? God.
Well, I wanted to do Lisbon, man. You know what happened in Lisbon?
Yeah,
Lisbon became
people. You know, things don't get made. I know.
Yeah, there's a reason for that, Katharina. And the reason, if you go on Facebook, you'll see the page that I had a program and everything set up to bring the festival and put it into that town. I was looking at it yesterday. That Facebook page was set up in 2015, and I remember
and we had a logo.
Yes. It's all there. It's sitting there on Facebook, and so literally I'd never perceived when I set up that Facebook page, and I had a full program. I had Logan Murray's workshop, and I was bringing the comics from Barcelona. I was sending it, I was combining it so that the same comics would go down there. Blah blah blah. And I never set up a page which got a reaction that fast. There was literally, I think it was almost 600 likes within 3 or 4 days. And I went, wow, this place is crazy for it. And this is before all the web started, you know.
That wanted to know. I was extremely harassed by people that wanted to know, like comedians, because they were so thirsty that something happens in Lisbon. It was like, oh, Lisbon festival, comedy festival. I was like, yeah, but it's not happening right now, but it will, I thought. But it can happen still.
Of course it will. And I mean, everything can. I mean, Lisbon, I don't know if it had anything to do with me, but Lisbon is inherently now, you're a very cool city now. Everything's going on there. Web Summit. You've got so many expats. Yeah. I mean, my friends, I have lots of friends living in Lisbon. Yeah. And when they, in the beginning, there was nobody living there, you know? Yeah. And now it's over in very short space of time. I mean, that's 5 years. Yeah. It's not that long. Yeah. And that expat scene has really exploded.
Yeah, of course. I think I performed 5 times in English in Lisbon. And that was something I never expected to do in my whole life. When I went to Brazil to live, I was like, okay, when I come back, I don't know where I'll perform. But then just, they decided to open up these bars with stand-up comedy nights and stuff like that. But in English, we have so many digital nomads right now in Lisbon that we put up a show for them. And it's full. It's always packed, you know?
This is the problem. It's the very sad thing of this moment. You know what I mean? Because I think it's horrific what has happened. You know, we got to be honest about it because people are not being honest. And at the moment, I've still got a festival supposedly happening in November, and but I'm still waiting for the Spanish to tell me. The Spanish are going to say, how many people audience can be in a room. I mean, at the moment in Ireland, they've put out, I'm just talking about Ireland today, they're talking about it's only 50 people in a room. That's the maximum here today. They've announced that. So it's an ongoing space. I've got a big show in the headline of my festival this year in Barcelona is a thing called the Blind Boy podcast, which is I don't know if you know this. You got to listen. If you don't know it, you got to listen to him. It's Blind Boy podcast. You got 1 million people listening to him. every month.
And one,
And
I'm gonna start listening to him too. So
you got to, man. He's a young guy. He's a millennial like yourself, you know. But he's very contemporary. He's all into, but he does lots of things on mental health and all the things that millennials do.
Yeah,
We used to just but now brought through everything. So anyway, but he's worth checking out. He's from Limerick. He's pulls no punches, and he does these incredible live podcasts. So his podcast goes out it'll be on tonight. Be a new one tonight, Wednesday. He's done maybe, I don't know many, he's done hundreds of them now at this stage. He's one of the world's top. He's on Spotify, and he's, like I said, he's got a million listeners
wow.
but he's very much Irish diaspora built. So he would have, he would go to Australia these days, or he'd go to Canada, and he'd sell out massive tours. So literally, he's a big name for me to have. And I was going to be selling out big rooms in Spain, but now we're going.
Sorry,
what's the capacity?
I'm just gonna write his
Yeah,
name.
Blind Boy.
Okay.
Blind Boy.
Okay.
He's got a plastic bag on his head.
Oh wow.
He's got absolutely anonymity. And he's done this. This is an incredible achievement for a celebrity. And I mean, the guy is a massive. He could be elected president of Ireland tomorrow if he ran for it. But he's got like a Spar, Spar, the shop.
Yeah.
He's got a Spar plastic bag on his head, and he's always had. And so he's completely anonymous. He lives in Limerick, a particular town in Ireland. So he's got a very distinctive accent. And he's written 2 books now, and he's very surreal. We have an Irish writer called Flann O'Brien, one of the greatest Irish writers.
Yeah.
He's a very great surrealist, and so he's a massive Flann O'Brien fan, and that fan, and that comes through in his things. Anyway, he's something to check out, and he's amazing. He's one of the Rubber Bandits. I don't know if you ever heard of the Rubber Bandits. That's where they became very famous. God. Like
very big, yeah.
They got maybe 1 billion clicks, for a song called "A Horse Outside." Anyway, he's very irreverent, and it's brilliant.
So this is when
the point is,
this is when you sing. Oh no.
No.
Oh, I tried.
You can't sing "A Horse Outside." It's not that kind of thing. Check it out on YouTube, man. On YouTube, it's like I said, it's got nearly 1 billion hits.
Wow.
So it was a massive track, and he's very funny. And anyway, but the point is that everything is uncertain. So he's in venues. I had to cancel him. I cancelled a bunch of shows. And I just noticed behind me. Yeah, see behind me.
Yeah.
This is funny, and I've just noticed this. It's a calendar. It's a calendar.
This is so sad. I'm laughing. I'm gonna go down.
I know. Yeah. Look at it. It's a pathetic calendar, which I kind of love because it's so pathetic. And but that I only realised now that it's stuck on March, because the last time I left here on March 10th. I left this flat on March 10th to go to Barcelona for a business meeting, effectively on March the 13th, and on March the 12th or something. And by Friday the 13th as well, that's when the bottom fell out of all the world's entertainment. And it fell out of a bunch of my friends' festivals. Brett Vincent, he's a guy doing the drive-in comedy in the UK and stuff at the moment. But he runs Latitude. And that was the day that Austria decided you can't have more than 150 people in a room or something like that. And it completely wiped out his festival. And so that was March Friday the 13th. Was disaster day for this entire industry.
Yeah.
And my calendar, remember that for
so ironic. Oh my god.
How about that for an image? I only noticed that tonight because I'm going, what the fuck is that my background? And so by March 14th, I was supposed to do a meeting on the 13th to set up a club at the bottom of the Ramblas in Barcelona with 2 tourism company partners. That was going to, because I never used to do the summer season. There's too much distraction from the beach and the bars and the promise of sex.
Yeah.
And rarely fulfilled. but there's a promise there, because you can't compete with that, you know. And so I never used to put on comedy shows.
Getting my dick sucked or comedy, I can't decide. So hard to decide.
You know what I mean? So anyway, but that all fell apart. By March 14th, I was in lockdown. And I was in lockdown until I got here last week, July the 7th. And technically, I'm back in quarantine. You know?
So you're going to quarantine yourself or isolating yourself for a little bit or something like that?
Oh yeah, well I do that. I do that regularly, you know.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, but I'm a
you know, but I am.
So I don't have a choice. You do. You can just run the Alps, like go up the Alps or something.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it's a shitty new reality, and I'm I had lots of all the kind of efforts by comedians to kind of do stuff online and all those things in the beginning of the lockdown.
Yeah.
Tons of friends kind of doing things, but none of it works. None live.
What do you feel about sorry to interrupt you. About the drive-in shows?
Yeah, I haven't. Obviously, I haven't been to one, but my friends run them over in England. There's that Brett Vincent has run them. He's made. I mean, it's you clap with your horn. Beeping your horn.
That's so cheesy. Oh my god, I think that's a bit cheesy. I don't know. Well, it's like people expressing themselves, but it's not a laugh. Come on, nothing can replace the wave of a laugh coming at you in a theater.
Of course. And how do you like I said, that live comedy is about tension in the room and controlling the tension. Yeah. So how can you control tension to a bunch of cars?
And again, blowjobs.
Yeah, there could be anything going on in those cars.
There
could be anything going on in those cars, and there will be. Everything will be going on in those cars. And you're the comedian up on a stage a mile away. Do you know what I mean? It's like it's horrible, and I don't know how it's going to come back. And it's this festival that I'm doing this year. The one thing that I have is organized only venues that are they're not fixed seating venues. They're not theaters. Yeah. The theater is done. The only way that they can bring back the theater is by having every second seat empty.
Well,
and
they're trying something like that here in Portugal. But the one thing that I was always very germaphobe. I prefer to chip my front teeth, but I won't grab the shopping mall stair. I don't do it. I prefer to fall down than to put my hand in the handle of a shopping mall stairs, like the ones that go up, and I would never do that because it's nasty. People put their hands there all the time. And the thing is, in Portugal, they're trying to introduce, if a theater has 200 seats, they'll just fill it with, well, they just don't feel it as much as the full capacity, of course. But the thing is, they have air conditioned. They don't have air going on, and I don't know if that's not good for the virus. I don't know if he doesn't care if you're at a comedy show. You know what I mean?
I don't know, and to be honest, I think masks are the biggest way, are the best chance of stuff coming back, and just because it's just about getting. We have to find a way to live with this thing, Yeah. But what I'm saying, that what I have in Barcelona for this festival this year is I've got open plan kind of venues where they're not fixed seating, so I can I can make spaces between people. They're big high ceiling venues, and so that's how I'm going to be able to make a festival this year. Yeah. But but every year normally I would have tons of small little bars, like bar venues doing small shows. Yeah. I mean, it's still going on in Barcelona at the moment. They're only allowed. They've got conditions on the bars are under conditions that you can only have 30% capacity. This kinds of things. Yeah. But in terms of making a festival, I've kind of got the venues that I'm going to be able to make a half decent festival. Yeah. So I'm happy about that. And but certain things like that blind boy show, he's going to go to Madrid. normally it's a 400 seater that I have in Madrid that I use, but I have no idea what that's going to
That's
be.
gonna be well,
Yeah.
Stephen, we just have 1 minute left. This
Okay.
feels like
Went fast.
therapy. Okay, your time is up. I'm sorry. Okay, now you
There you
pay to
go.
my receptionist. It was really lovely talking to you. I really missed you. And I promise next time I see you, I'll just say out loud, buy this man a pint, because you're amazing. And you wanna say